Hey everyone, welcome back to Mood for a Movie. If you're new here, we dive deep into the movies that shaped us, what worked, what didn't, and everything in between. Today, we're stepping into the wizarding world of Harry Potter to rank all the directors who brought J.K. Rowling's magical universe to life. Now, before you grab your wands, or your pitchforks, remember, this ranking is based on how well each director understood and adapted the source material, and how they shaped the tone of the series. So without further ado, here's our ranking of the Harry Potter directors from worst to best. Rank 4, Mike Newell. Coming in at number 4. Mike Newell, director of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now look, we get it. The fourth book is a beast. It's the size of a small encyclopedia, and adapting it to a 2.5-hour film was no small feat. But Newell's take on this pivotal chapter in the saga was, well, let's just say it missed the mark. From the weird, borderline comedic portrayal of Dumbledore, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire, to trimming essential subplots like the House Elves, Ludo Bagman, and the significance of Barty Crouch Jr., the film feels like it's rushing to tick boxes rather than truly telling the story. Newell also didn't seem to fully grasp the tone or depth of the wizarding world. Where previous and later films layered the world with nuance and atmosphere, Goblet of Fire often feels like a chaotic teen drama set at a wizard sports camp. Yes, the action sequences are fun, and the graveyard scene was chilling, but overall, it was a major tonal shift, and not necessarily for the better. Rank 3, David Yates. At number 3, we have David Yates, who directed the final 4 films, Order of the Phoenix through Deathly Hallows Part 2. Yates brought consistency to the franchise, and that's no small thing. He inherited a series in transition and helped close it with some seriously iconic moments. His take on Order of the Phoenix was tight and focused. Deathly Hallows Part 1 captured the bleak tone of the war, and Part 2 gave us an emotionally satisfying finale. But here's where he falls short. First, everything gets really dark, visually and tonally. Yes, the story is dark, but some of Yates's films are literally hard to see. The color grading makes everything feel washed out and cold, sometimes at the expense of character and magic. And let's talk about Half-Blood Prince, a fan-favorite book that became a somewhat meandering film. The darkness overtook the humor and mystery that made the book so special. The core plot, the secret of the Horcruxes, gets lost in teenage romance and filler scenes. Overall, Yates did a solid job managing the series to the finish line, but his vision leaned more toward realism than wonder, and in doing so, lost some of the magic. Rank 2, Alfonso Cuarón. In second place, we've got Alfonso Cuarón, the man behind Prisoner of Azkaban. Prisoner of Azkaban is often praised for changing the tone of the series, and rightfully so. Cuarón gave us a darker, moodier Hogwarts, leaned into the characters' growing maturity, and brought a stylized, almost indie film sensibility to the franchise. He introduced the idea that the wizarding world can be weird, and that was refreshing. The transitions, the moving Whomping Willow, the floating candles, all of it added a dreamlike quality that worked beautifully for the third installment. But here's the thing, in going for mood and tone, Cuarón made a few magical missteps. Key lore elements were trimmed or ignored, like the importance of the Marauders and their connection to Harry's dad, or the explanation of the Animagus forms. And the wardrobe shift, Hogwarts students in hoodies and jeans instead of robes, kind of broke the immersion for some fans. Still, his film holds up beautifully and inspired much of the tone that Yates would later use. Cuarón redefined the aesthetic of the series, but didn't quite preserve all the magic. Rank 1, Chris Columbus. And in the top spot, number 1, Chris Columbus, director of The Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. Columbus did something nobody else could have done. He established the world with reverence, warmth, and pure wonder. His adaptations are the most faithful to the books, and that matters. The tone, the settings, even the dialogue felt like it was pulled straight from the pages. He gave us perfect casting: Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and Alan Rickman. Absolutely iconic. He also nailed the visual effects for the time, blending practical sets with early CGI to make Hogwarts feel like a real, lived-in place. Some may say his tone was too childish, but honestly, that's exactly what the first 2 books were: bright, hopeful, and full of discovery. He set the gold standard. Without Columbus, the rest of the series wouldn't have had a foundation to build on.